Red is the color you turn once she catches your eyes.
This is Katerin with VIVE Katerin. I'm here with Alexis Babini, singer, songwriter. Alexis, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Love your jacket.
Thank you. You know, got it for the road.
Cool. For your tour?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Tour. So I'm leaving Halloween, and I'm going to be gone for most of November, hitting the Northeast and the Midwest and the South a little bit.
Okay. Now I know you were on tour previously when we spoke. How was that?
I was. Let's see here. I did a house concert tour over the summer, and then in May I did a tour with a couple other bands, Click 5, Atomic Tom, and so that was really funny. I've been really busy getting out there. At the same time, I'm working on a new record, so it's a lot of different multitasking, I guess.
Okay. Tell us about the new single that you're looking to release.
Well, I've been in the studio a lot this past month, and I think I don't want to sit and make an announcement and then have it not happen. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some new material out when I'm on the road. But I guess it's not set in stone until it's actually out. But yeah, I'm really excited about the new songs that I'm working on. I'm recording in New York.
So how did you get started with your playing the guitar, and then how did it evolve to where you are today?
Well, I used to always have a drawing pad with me wherever I went when I was a child. I was very creative, Etch-a-Sketch, Magnadoodle, what have you. And it kind of shifted to music right when I was about 10 years old. I did piano lessons, and that kind of lit the spark. Actually, a babysitter of mine brought a toy piano over, and I played it until the batteries ran out. So that was one of the first red flags.
Did you pound on it, or did you actually know?
I played it. It was one of those little things that it was a battery-operated little Casio something or other, and I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. And hours I sat there. And then it was just the batteries ran out, and my parents were like, wait, if he can do this, maybe we should get him into piano lessons. So I did that for a little while, but I really started looking at songwriting and looking at sort of a glimpse of what my life is today when I did guitar lessons, and that was when I was a teenager. I picked it up when I was 14. Was when I first learned the guitar.
So how was the transition from piano to guitar?
Well, I think I forget this when I'm talking to other songwriters who write maybe just for voice or just for guitar. But piano is you're definitely at an advantage because you have the notes all in front of you, and it's easier to see it in your brain of all right, this is what it would be like here, and to kind of play it out and maybe arrange it for a band and hear what parts kind of go in and out.
Tell me if you think there will be a time that we will not see you with the guitar.
That is a really good question, actually, because I've always wanted to kind of just work the mic and sing and just have the band, and maybe because what's that one band? There's this really heavy rock band. The Hives, you know the Hives?
Okay, yeah.
I saw them at a music festival in San Francisco once, and the guy, he just had the microphone, and he had he could do whatever. He would climb on the stage, and at one point he climbed up the lighting fixture, and was
pretty wild.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I want to do that, because you can't really when you have a guitar, you're kind of but that's cool. I think ideally full blown Alexis Babini concert experience. Would be I would play on the guitar, and then maybe do a few songs on the piano, and then kind of do a microphone song and kind of mix it up. But right now I think guitar is my bass.
It's your thing,
yeah,
it's you.
It is. Yeah.
So I guess my question would be, how was it for you transitioning from playing in a school band to having your own band today?
Well,
what's that feeling like to stand up in front of millions of people and play?
It's to call yourself a songwriter definitely is a lot. I used to be afraid to call myself that, because a lot of it is kind of believing in not only just yourself, but in the art you create, and being like, this is something I've made, and I want to show it to the world. And especially when you're playing under your own name, it's like, you know, your name is on it. So I really believe in the songs I write, and they mean a lot to me. And from what I've seen, people seem to react to them, and hopefully my songs can keep reaching people the way they have. And I think that speaks more than just saying, here's my band and here's my songs, like, check us out. I think it's, you know, it's...
well, you sing from the heart.
Right,
You
exactly.
write from the heart.
Yes.
And you can definitely see that in your lyrics.
Thank you.
And your performance, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what does it feel like today for you to be up there, having gone through some struggle, and talk about that struggle?
No, this is I really want to talk about this because my first record, iTunes reviewed it, and they were like, it was a good review, but a lot of it was there's a video of me on YouTube, like, kind of like mocking what iTunes said about my album, because they were like, oh, who is this, like, you know, these are love songs he wrote about his girlfriend, and it was a very happy record. And I think he called me catnip. He was like, this is catnip for cougars and women looking for a handsome, I don't know, but now I feel like the songs I'm writing now, and it really comes across more in my live shows. I do play some of the old songs, a lot of my older material. Some people still really want to hear when they come to shows, but a lot of the songs now are about struggle, and it's the idea that, like, the greater the struggle you have in life, the greater the triumph you will have when you finally overcome that struggle.
Absolutely, and stronger of a person you are.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And so it's the songs are a lot more real, and they're I do have happy songs still, but a lot of them they deal with like deeper pain and kind of like more emotional things that are happening in my songs. I hope that comes across.
No, absolutely, it definitely does. But tell us about, you know, as an artist, you know,
Right.
What has been a challenge for you that is most memorable, positive and a negative one, of course?
I think, well, you know, I mean, obviously it's a challenge to, like, be able to find a producer and get the right band and pour your heart and soul into a record, and then be able to take a step back and say, oh wait, like, this needs to be faster. And it's a challenge to kind of, like, fully realize your vision, especially if you're the only person who's kind of I feel like every band really has, like, one guy who's like, this is my vision, this is my band, and I'm gonna arrange it this way, and that's the challenge, to kind of, like, get it out of your head and into real life. It's also a challenge to, like, you know, be inspired and to stay inspired as an artist, especially if, you know, like, for example, if you won a songwriting award, you're like, oh, maybe my songs are really good, I can just write whatever I feel like because everybody loves what I do. And I feel like that is a challenge, to keep challenging yourself creatively. Mm-hmm. What else? It's a challenge to travel on the road, to wake
And
up
you
in a
travel
different
a lot.
city.
Absolutely.
It is, yeah, and it's something I love, but it's definitely, like, you learn a lot about yourself, like, having to wake up in a different city every morning and having to spend, like, basically 24/7 you're in a van or a bus with the same people, and so people see, you know, all sides of you, like your mannerisms, maybe your habits that people don't like. And so I think it's a challenge to kind of, like, deal with that and be able to, like, turn that into a positive experience sometimes. Not to say that touring isn't the most fun thing ever, because it definitely is.
Right. Tell us about your band and your relationship that you've established, you know, from when you started to where you are today.
After having played with so many different players, I think now I'm able to communicate better my thoughts and to be able to organize band practices better. I think my band tonight is definitely the best band I've ever played with.
Why is that?
My band tonight is definitely the best band I've ever played with, and here's why. Because these are session players in New York, because you know, to play in one band in New York City, if you're like a bassist or a drummer, it doesn't exactly pay the rent. So a lot of bands in New York City, like, people will play around with other bands, and so they're very versatile. And I'll bring my songs to the table, and I'll be like, this is how I think it should sound, and that, and then my drummer will be like, hey, well, what about this? And I'm like, yes, that's amazing, like, and I hope that comes across during a live show. So So yeah, and these are people that I know, and I think more important than being a great musician is being a great person. And
Yes.
that sounds really cheesy, but I think if you're spending time with a band, you really need to get along with people. You really need to connect on more than just a musical level, and then that helps the music.
It helps create the bond that, you know, I feel not
Romance.
Yes, definitely the romance, but definitely a bond that's very important, either in corporate, either, you know, if you're an entertainer or you're a part of a family. It's that bond that that you sort of create together that's going to make the music powerful, and it creates that relationship where you all know already what you're thinking, you know, and what your thoughts are, and when there's a new idea, it helps you to, you know, go with it because you trust that person, and that's very important as well, right? I mean, to trust who you're touring with and to trust, you know, those members of your band. So that definitely is great to know that you have that right now. What about your family? How have they been supportive?
My family definitely is as supportive as it can be. I think at times they're a little confused because, well, my mother and my father obviously are not in the entertainment business, don't do music. My grandfather was. That's a different story there. But yeah, I think it's a little perplexing to be like, why do you want to go and play for all these strangers every night and, you know, not have stability and in your finances, and like it's just and it's at times I understand it, and that's when it's most rewarding because they'll come to a show and they'll be like, wow, that girl over there cried at that song that you wrote, and they'll be like, that's amazing, you're connecting with like all these people who you've never met before, and that's a huge thing, and so that's great. But the other side of that is like, you know, just like my mother like calling me when I'm in South Carolina, like, I haven't heard from you in weeks, like, are you still alive, like, what's happening out there?
Well, she misses you.
Yes.
She misses you. Yes. That's great. Okay. And what about your grandfather? Tell me about your grandfather. He was a musician, and he definitely stands behind you, right?
My grandfather, oh my goodness. My grandfather is a guy named Alexis Babini. If you Google him, you'll see that he's played in the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. He was first chair. He was a cellist. And on the side, he also played for Motown Records. So in the background of songs like What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, you'll hear him playing the cello. And he still gets checks for playing strings in all these famous recordings like Diana Ross, Supremes. He played with Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye. And yeah, so...
So tell me what tips he offers to you. How has he mentored you throughout your career so far?
Well, it's really funny because right when I graduated Berkeley, I remember I ran into him at a family event, and he was like, "So you want to like play songs and like travel around and do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, like this is what I want to do with my life." And he was like, "Don't do it." He was like, "Get a real job. It's really hard. It's incredibly frustrating." And I've done it. I've been there. And I was like, oh. But then he came to a show in Connecticut. I played a place called the Fairfield Theater Company. Not important. Anyways, he came to a show and he saw like it was a solo show I did, and I had the audience sing along to a few songs, and he definitely saw like me at my best and me connect with people, and he came up to me afterwards and he was like, I take back what I said, like I really think, like I really believe in you now, and that was a huge moment for me. Yeah, I visit him. We visit him. He lives in Arizona, so I don't see him very often.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really exciting to have somebody in my family who like knows a little bit about the career that I've chosen for myself.
Has he ever given you one piece of advice that you take with you all the time, that you reflect back on?
Let's see here. I wish that would be a great answer. I wish I could have like, he said this. No, I think it's more like, you know, I think looking at the way he lives his life and how he's kind of like, I think that's kind of like maybe a stereotypical like wise old man where you just take everything slow and you're like, look, this is what I have to do today, and this is sort of like, you know, where I've come in my life. And I think he's definitely like really proud of his accomplishments, and it's so funny because every time I go home, there's a huge picture of him. He played Carnegie Hall a while ago now, but there's this huge picture of him framed. Alexis Babini, Carnegie Hall performance, and yeah, I just look at that. And
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I see, like, well, if you can do this, and I'm related to you, maybe, you know.
Definitely, absolutely. So you're all emotional. Oh, it's Grandpa. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that you've sold some of your music to MTV, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It's funny you mentioned that. I just got a royalty check from BMI I had a song in 7 episodes of a show called It Used to Be Fat, and that was exciting because, well, let's see here. I didn't know that they were using it. I guess the way that we gave them the songs, it was like, we're gonna put it in a show, and that was different because the first time I had a song, my first ever placement on television was I had a song in The Real World, and they told me, they're like, it's gonna be on this day, and you're gonna know, and like tell your friends. And I was just like, Jersey Shore was one of my guilty pleasures. I admitted it. So I was watching that like at 4 a.m, just like, you know, on a Saturday, and the next show after that was a show called It Used to Be Fat, and like halfway through the episode, I hear kind of like the background chords of like a song that I wrote, and I was like, wait a second, and then I turned it up, and it was over. It was like a short clip, and I was like, that sounded like a song, and then they played it again like a few minutes later. And I was like, what? And so I called my agent. I was like, what's going on? He was like, yeah, remember we like gave them some of the songs, and so he DVR'd it, and they kept using it in a bunch of different episodes.
How long did that take from the time that you met with them to the time that you heard it play?
Oh man, that was probably like 6 months later, but yeah, I've heard of it taking longer than that. And the first time I had a song in it. Well, actually, my first ever placement was I had a song in a video game, and that was kind of like right away. It was the Xbox had this like Xbox. I'm not a fan. Well, I'm just gonna start over.
Okay.
Tripping all over my words. What happened was Xbox had this thing where you could like go into like the internet through the video game, and Fox.
What video game? What was the name of the video game?
I don't know exactly. I think it was part of like the interface of the Xbox.
Xbox Live.
Yeah, Xbox Live.
All right,
that's what it is.
so let's start again.
Do you know what this is?
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a song. It was called Xbox Live, and I never actually saw it. I did an interview, and I did a performance for what was it? Something in Ohio, and they had me come into a music studio, and I played some songs. And then a week later, they were like, "Hey, we want to use your songs for Xbox Live," and I was like, "Cool." And so I was like, "Yeah, use it. That's great." And then I got like Facebook messages from people that like I don't know. Like there's some guy I worked with, my first job ever in Boston, and he was like, "I just saw you like on my video game, and this is like the coolest thing ever." And I was like, "Whoa!" And that was like the first time I saw kind of like you can just kind of put a song and have it placed and have it reach people, and you forget about it, and then they reach out to you and they're like, "Oh my God, like I saw it and it was great." So that was really cool. That was the first placement I ever had.
So with listening to your music that day when you were in your apartment, you know, and you were listening to the show and it came on right before you called your agent, what was going through your mind?
I was mostly I was excited. And then I was like, wait, is it? Because I wasn't sure. And then they played it again, and I was like, that definitely was my song. And I was trying to like, so I was excited / confused / like, was really excited.
Okay.
Excited twice.
Yeah.
Double excited.
Wow. Is there a specific area that you like to write your songs in, a specific environment? Like, is it in your bedroom? Is it on your rooftop? You know, where exactly do you enjoy writing your songs?
This is something I forget a lot, because I'll sit on my bed or like, you know, on a rooftop somewhere, and I'll be like, all right, here we go, I'm gonna write a song, and I'm just gonna be like, all right, let's do this. But really, songs don't come to me when I sit down and decide I'm gonna write a song today. Of course, like when you co-write with somebody, that's exactly what happens, and I have co-written a lot, so maybe what I'm saying is a bunch of lies. No, it's not. Most of the time, songs come to me just like in my head, like I'll get a line and it'll kind of follow me around all day, and then I'll finally pick up a guitar and I'll like lay that line somewhere in a song, and then come back to it a day later, and it kind of like haunts me a little bit like a ghost. Like I can't get rid of it, but it's not. I wish I could just sit down and be like, all right, like I'm gonna light my special aroma candle and like, you know, think about I'm gonna like read this chapter of my favorite book and then I'm gonna write a song. Like it's just like it's very sporadic, and it fits my lifestyle too, because I'm not a very like clean cut, like organized, like all right, today I have my morning routine and then I take the train to do this today. Like it's life.
Right, you're not
man.
planning.
Yeah,
you're not planning
it's life.
it. Okay.
And so that's sort of a little bit about my creative process.
Okay. And what do you typically like to write about?
Love is a big theme. I think, and obviously a couple of songs have been written about that subject. You can get hurt so easily by the littlest thing, and that fascinates me, and both sides of it. Like I used to make a joke on stage, like when I date a girl, like I'll get a really happy song at the beginning, a really nice love song, and then at the end, I'm gonna write a really mean song about you. So just go into it knowing about that. Lately, I'm really like fascinated with the subject of just like the city, like New York. I love that it's just like a hub of so much art, and that so many people come here to follow their dreams, and it's tough, man. It's like, you know, there's so much hustle, and so I'm working on a couple songs that kind of deal with that. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
So where can we find information on your tour?
Well, as a matter of fact, it has been decided that I'm going to be doing a video log of the tour. So I'm going to get a bunch of footage together, and I think every week I'm gonna put up a new video about the tour, and it's going to be sort of a road journal. So we're going to call it like a video journal of my upcoming tour. It's going to be really exciting. A lot of really funny and interesting things happen on tour, and I'm going to capture some of that out there, and definitely get some performance clips too, and kind of introduce my fans to the people that I'm playing with. A guy named Ron Pope and Zach Burp, and really close friends of mine. And hopefully their fans will see the video, and we'll all kind of gain from the experience.
What bands have you opened up for?
Okay, so recently I played a show with the guy who won American Idol last year, Lita Wise, Click 5. Let's see, who else? Played a bunch of shows with Sister Hazel. I had management that was kind of like, they were a part of it, and it was really cool. Sister Hazel's a great band. Ken Block, awesome dude. Who else? Ryan Cabrera. Cabrera and I are close friends too. I played a show with him in the Poconos recently. That was really fun. Blues Traveler, John Popper, harmonica, big guy.
Awesome.
Best thing about playing with Blues Traveler is because I was backstage. Kind of like when you're backstage opening from a big act, here's how it works. It's not like everybody's backstage and you get to hang out with famous people. Basically, the opener, you get like one small little room, and there's like a big backstage area where like the people running the stage are very stressed out, and you know everybody's very busy. So basically, you're alone by yourself, and the headliner has their own dressing room that they usually never come out of. There's like a star with their name on it, and they're back there, and maybe you see them for a second at the end and be like, hey, good job, and great, thank you for letting me open for you, great opportunity. But John Popper from Blues Traveler, it was not like that at all. Like, he came out of his dressing room and like walked right up to me, and before I had the chance to say hi, he was like, Alexis, hi, I'm John. And he like knew my name already, and I was just like, whoa. And he said my name on stage like so many times. He was like, and Alexis Babini, have another hand, and it was really cool.
It's special.
That was really fun.
He made it really special for you. So where can we find your information?
Well, alexisbabini.com is a landing page for all my social network sites. There's facebook.com/alexisbabini, twitter.com/alexisbabini, because it's all capitals.
So tell our viewers an inspirational message that you'd like to leave them with.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Jeez. How about well, I'll say the Jimi Hendrix quote that's on my Facebook profile, which is what is it? I can't mess it up now. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Do you like that?
Isn't that true? I mean,
I think it is.
It's the truth. He only tells the truth. All right, Alexis. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here
today. Thank you for having me.
And seeing you again. Yes. And good luck tonight. Thanks. I mean, you're gonna do great, and I can't wait to catch up with you soon.
Great.
Thank you.